If you are over 60 and you think constipation is just part of aging, that is not entirely true. Because what's really slowing your bowel down is not just age, it is how your body is being used every day. Most people focus on fiber, water, and supplements. But there is one physical habit that directly affects bowel movement in seniors, and almost no one is talking about it. You've probably been increasing fiber intake, drinking more water, and still feeling bloated and constipated. That's because your digestive system does not just depend on what you eat, it depends on how your body moves and how your internal muscles are being supported. Most medical advice you see or hear online is designed for younger bodies with stronger muscle tone and faster gut activity. But after 60, your body responds differently. And if you don't adjust for that, even healthy foods can work against you. In this video, I'm going to show you 3 simple movements and home exercises that help restart your digestion and 2 common habits that may be making your constipation worse without you realizing it. Now, the third exercise is the most effective one. It directly stimulates your bowel and helps things move when they feel completely stuck. I'll show you that one last because the first 2 prepare your body so it actually works properly. If you haven't subscribed yet, you might want to do that now. Let's get into it. Number 1, the seated torso compression. This first technique is not really a workout in the way people normally think about exercise. You're not trying to sweat. You're not trying to build strength. And you're not trying to push your body to exhaustion. What you're doing here is something much more direct and simpler. You are gently stimulating the movement of your large intestine, especially the parts that tend to slow down with age, like the ascending and descending colon. First, you sit on a firm, stable chair. Nothing complicated. You simply use your own body weight and the natural pressure between your stomach and thighs to create what you can think of as gentle compression zones inside your abdomen. Now, in case you're wondering why this even matters, let's slow down and understand what is actually happening inside your body as you get older. Inside your digestive system, there is something called the migrating motor complex. When you are younger, this system works quite efficiently on its own. But as the years go by, it becomes slower and weaker. The wave does not travel as strongly as it used to, and when that happens, stool begins to move more slowly, sit longer in the intestines, and eventually becomes harder and more difficult to pass. So instead of relying only on that weak internal movement, this exercise gives your body a little external help. You are essentially doing from the outside what your gut muscles are struggling to do from the inside. It is very similar to what happens when you squeeze a tube of toothpaste from the bottom. Instead of just holding it upright and hoping gravity will do everything for you, the pressure makes the contents move. There is also research that supports this kind of approach. A study published in 2014 in the Journal of Bodywork and Movement Therapies found that abdominal massage and gentle compression significantly improved bowel movement speed in older adults. It reduced the time it takes for food to pass through the digestive system and also reduced the severity of constipation symptoms by more than 40%. In simple terms, people were going more regularly and with less struggle. Now let's talk about how to actually do it in a way that feels natural and easy on the body. You begin by sitting on the edge of a firm chair. Your feet should be flat on the ground, slightly wider than your hips, giving you a stable base. Your back should not be slouched. Instead, imagine that there is a string gently pulling the top of your head upward so your spine stays tall but relaxed at the same time. Once you are in position, take a slow, deep breath, but do not breathe into your chest. Let the air go into your stomach so your belly expands slightly. This is important because it prepares the abdominal area for movement. As you slowly breathe out, you begin to lean forward from your hips, not from your shoulders, but from your waist. Your chest moves closer to your knees and your stomach naturally presses against your thighs. That contact is where the compression happens. It should feel firm but not painful. At this point, you gently reach your hands down toward your ankles. You do not need to force anything. You simply hold this forward folded position for about 5 seconds. During this time, your abdomen is being gently compressed between your thighs and your breath. Then, while still in that forward position, you add a very small movement. You slowly shift your upper body toward your right knee and hold it there for a moment. After that, you shift toward your left knee and hold again. This slight side-to-side movement is important because it helps stimulate different sections of the colon, especially the areas where stool tends to slow down or get stuck. After this, you slowly begin to roll back up into a seated position. You do it gently and without rushing, allowing your body to reset. When it comes to creating a routine around this exercise, timing matters more than intensity. In the morning, after something warm like tea or coffee, you can repeat this movement about 5 times. The warmth of the drink combined with the movement helps activate what is known as the gastrocolic reflex, which is your body's natural signal that tells your colon it is time to move. Around lunchtime, if you notice that your stomach feels heavy or bloated, you can repeat the movement 3 times to help release that pressure and encourage movement. In the evening, it is better to be a bit more cautious. You should avoid doing it immediately after a heavy meal. Instead, wait at least 30 minutes, then repeat it 5 times. This helps prepare your digestive system for smoother overnight processing. Now, while this technique is very effective at helping the middle sections of your digestive tract, there is still another important area that it does not fully address. That is the lower part of the system, the pelvic floor region, where stool often feels like it is right at the exit, but still refuses to pass. And that is exactly where the next exercise becomes very important. Stay with us. Number 2, the modified deep squat. This second exercise is one of the most important natural positions your body can return to when dealing with constipation, especially after 60. It is not complicated, but it works very deep inside your body. What you're really doing here is correcting a natural angle in your lower digestive system called the anorctal angle. In simple terms, there is a muscle inside your body called the puborectalis muscle. When you are sitting in a normal chair or on a standard toilet, this muscle naturally tightens slightly and creates a bend in your rectum. That bend is actually there for protection. It helps prevent accidental leakage when you're not ready to go. But the problem is that in modern life, especially in older age, that same protective bend becomes part of the reason stool does not pass easily. So instead of a smooth pathway, you end up with what you can imagine as a gentle kink in a hose. And when there is a kink in a hose, nothing flows freely. This is where the modified deep squat becomes very powerful. What you are doing with this movement is not forcing anything out of your body. Instead, you are restoring a more natural position that straightens that internal pathway. When the body is in a squatting position, that anorctal angle opens up. The rectum aligns more directly with the exit path, and stool can move with far less resistance. In many cases, this reduces the need to strain completely, which is very important because straining is one of the leading causes of hemorrhoids, discomfort, and pelvic floor weakness in older adults. Now, most seniors do not realize that years of sitting in low, soft chairs, sofas, and even poorly designed toilets slowly train the pelvis into a backward tilt. That backward tilt can worsen the same kink-ect position over and over again. Over time, the body begins to treat that as normal. So even when stool is ready to pass, the body position itself makes it harder than it needs to be. The modified deep squat works against that pattern by gently retraining the body into a more open, aligned position. There is also research supporting this approach. A study published in 2019 in the Journal of Education and Health Promotion found that people who used a squatting posture experienced significantly shorter toilet time and reported a stronger feeling of complete emptying compared to those who used a standard seated position. In simple language, they finished faster and felt more relief afterwards. Now let's go into how you actually perform it safely and comfortably. You begin by standing in front of something stable like a kitchen counter, a sturdy table, or any solid surface you can hold on to. This is important because balance matters more than depth. You are not trying to fall into a deep athletic squat. You are simply trying to create a supported lowering of the body. Once you are stable, you place your feet slightly wider than your shoulders. Your toes should naturally turn outward just a little, not forced, just comfortable. This position gives your hips more room to open. From there, you slowly begin to lower your body. It is almost as if you are sitting back into an invisible chair behind you. You hold on to the counter for support the entire time. You only go as low as your knees comfortably allow. Even a partial squat is still effective. So there is no pressure to go very deep. When you reach your lowest comfortable point, you then shift your attention inward. Instead of tensing, you focus on relaxing your lower body. Specifically, you allow your pelvic floor muscles to soften. These are the same muscles you would normally tighten if you were trying to hold in urine. In this position, you are gently doing the opposite. You are letting go. While staying in that relaxed squat, you can gently shift your weight from one side to the other. This slow rocking motion helps your pelvis adjust slightly and encourages alignment in the lower digestive tract. It is subtle, but it is very effective because it reduces stiffness around the exit pathway. After a few moments, you use your arms on the counter to help guide yourself back up slowly. There is no rushing, no force, just a controlled return to standing. In terms of daily use, this movement becomes very practical when you build it into your routine. In the morning, you can perform about 10 of these supported squats while waiting for something simple like your toast or tea. This helps activate your lower body and prepares your system for natural movement. During the day, especially when you go to the toilet, you can place a small footstool under your feet to mimic this squatting position. This small adjustment alone can make a very noticeable difference in ease and comfort. In the evening, performing about 5 slow squats before bed helps relax the pelvic area and prepares your body for smoother function the next morning. Now, while this movement helps open the exit pathway and the previous exercise helps move stool through the middle sections of the gut, there is still one final technique that brings everything together. This next one is the most direct and powerful method for stimulating a slow or stuck digestive system. You don't want to miss it. Number 3, the ILU abdominal stroke. This third and final technique is the most direct of the 3, and in many cases the most effective when done correctly. Unlike the previous exercises that rely on posture, gravity, and body positioning, this one works by directly stimulating the path of your large intestine using your hands. It is called the ILU abdominal stroke because the movements you perform trace the actual shape and direction of your colon inside the body. You are not guessing or working randomly on the stomach. You are following a structured pathway that matches how waste naturally moves from the intestines toward the exit. What makes this technique important is that sometimes constipation is not just about slow movement or poor positioning. In many older adults, the problem becomes more internal and neurological. The communication between the gut and the brain weakens. The muscles are still there, but the signals that tell them to move properly become less efficient. When that happens, stool can slow down, get stuck in certain sections, and become harder over time. In that situation, what the body needs is not just movement, but direct feedback. This is where this technique becomes very powerful. By using slow, deliberate strokes across the abdomen, you are essentially giving the gut a physical reminder of the direction it is supposed to move in. You are helping reestablish that communication between the nervous system and the digestive tract. In simple terms, you are guiding the system from the outside when it is not responding well from the inside. There is also scientific support for this approach. A study published in 2018 in Gastroenterology Nursing found that patients who use structured abdominal massage techniques experienced a significant increase in bowel movement frequency. Many of them also reported a reduced dependence on laxatives over time. What this suggests is that gentle, targeted stimulation of the abdomen can help restore natural bowel rhythm. Now let's go into how to actually perform it in a clear and simple way. You begin by lying flat on your back on a firm surface such as a bed or yoga mat. Your knees should be bent and your feet placed flat on the ground. This position relaxes your abdominal muscles and allows your hands to work more effectively. Once you are comfortable, you prepare to begin the strokes in sequence. First is the I stroke. You place your hand on the left side of your abdomen, just under your rib area. From there, you gently but firmly stroke downward in a straight line toward your left hip bone. This follows the descending colon, which is the final section of the digestive pathway before waste leaves the body. You repeat this movement slowly about 10 times, maintaining steady pressure. The idea is to encourage movement toward the exit. Next comes the L stroke. You begin on the right side of your abdomen again, just below the ribs. From there, you move your hand across your stomach toward the left side and then down toward the hip. This forms an L shape. This movement helps guide stool through the transverse colon and into the lower section of the digestive tract. You repeat this pattern about 10 times as well, keeping your movement slow and controlled. After that, you move into the U stroke. This is a longer motion that covers the full pathway of the colon. You start at the lower right side of your abdomen, move upward toward the ribs, then across the stomach, and finally down the left side. This forms an inverted U shape. It helps stimulate the entire colon from beginning to end. Again, you repeat this about 10 times, allowing your hands to move with a steady rhythm. Once you complete these strokes, you finish with a gentle vibration technique. You place both hands over your navel and lightly shake or vibrate them for about 30 seconds. This final step helps relax the abdominal area and settle the internal organs. It also helps reduce tension in the gut, which is important for allowing smoother movement afterward. In terms of daily use, this technique works best when used consistently but gently. In the morning, it can be done before you even get out of bed. Think of it as a way of switching on your digestive system for the day. It helps wake up the gut and prepare it for natural movement. During the day, especially if you start feeling bloated, gassy, or uncomfortable, you can lie down for just a couple of minutes and repeat the same strokes. Even a short session can help release pressure and restore comfort. In the evening, this technique becomes even more effective when combined with a small amount of warm oil, such as coconut oil. Applying it gently to the abdomen allows your hands to glide more smoothly and helps the abdominal muscles relax more deeply. Doing this before sleep can support calmer digestion overnight and improve morning bowel movement. When combined with the other two exercises, this final technique completes a full system. The previous movements help position and open the pathway, while this one directly stimulates and guides the internal process itself. This reminds me of a patient I once handled, Mr. Robert Miller, a 62-year-old retired school administrator. He had been struggling with chronic constipation for years, and his case clearly shows how this final technique works. In Mr. Miller's case, his constipation was not due to blockage. It was mainly a functional slowdown. The communication between his gut and nervous system had weakened over time. So even though everything was medically normal, movement was inefficient. This is where this technique became useful. It gave his gut external feedback, gently guiding movement along its natural path. We started with him lying flat on his back, knees bent, feet on the bed. Then we introduced the strokes. First was the I stroke on the left abdomen downward toward the hip, then the L stroke from right to left and down. After that, the U stroke covers the full colon pathway. Each was repeated slowly about 10 times. We ended with a light abdominal vibration over the navel for about 30 seconds to relax the gut. Within a few weeks, Mr. Miller reported more regular bowel movements, less bloating, and significantly reduced straining. In his words, it felt like his system was working again on its own. And honestly, results like that are what make the technique so potent. So we've learned a lot about moving the body to move the gut. However, here's another interesting fact. You can do all the exercises in the world, but if you are still doing these next two habits, you are essentially driving with the handbrake on. You are creating the problem faster than the exercises can fix it. Number one is taking high dosages of calcium and iron. According to medical research, this habit is more common than most people realize, especially in older adults trying to support bone strength or boost energy. It involves taking high doses of calcium or iron supplements without properly balancing them with enough magnesium or daily hydration. Now, the real issue is not that calcium and iron are harmful nutrients, because in reality, your body absolutely depends on both of them for essential functions like bone strength, oxygen transport, and overall metabolic health. The problem arises when these minerals are consumed in excessive amounts or taken in isolated, concentrated forms, especially through supplements, rather than whole foods where they naturally occur alongside balancing nutrients. In these situations, their behavior inside the digestive system begins to change in ways that are not always beneficial. Within the gut, calcium and iron tend to act like heavy, dense minerals. Instead of supporting smooth digestion and regular movement, they can actually cause the intestinal walls to contract more tightly than they should. This tightening interferes with the gut's natural rhythm, slowing down the gentle, wave-like motion known as peristalsis, which is responsible for moving food and waste steadily through the digestive tract. When this process is disrupted, stool can begin to move more slowly, giving the body extra time to absorb water from it, which leads to it becoming firmer and more difficult to pass. In some cases, particularly with higher calcium intake, another effect can occur inside the intestines. Calcium can bind with dietary fats present in the gut, and when this happens, it forms a thicker, soap-like compound. This substance changes the texture of the stool, making it harder, drier, and significantly more compact. Over time, this can contribute to constipation and discomfort, especially in older adults who may already have slower digestive motility. So while calcium and iron are necessary nutrients, the key issue lies in balance, form, and timing, because when taken improperly or in excess, they can unintentionally work against the very digestive processes they are meant to support. Was it the snacking habit that might be slowing your gut down, or the ILU massage that actually follows the path of your colon? Drop it in the comments. And to be honest, how often are you really going comfortably in a week? Because the truth is, normal is not the same for everyone, especially after 60. Everything we've covered so far is the physical side of digestion, positioning, and movement. But movement alone isn't enough. What you eat dictates whether your stool is easy or painful to pass. That's why I created 100+ high-fiber natural laxative recipes. This isn't a food list. It's a daily system for regular, comfortable digestion without harsh laxatives or guesswork. If you're ready to feel lighter, the link is in the description. Before we go, there's one constipation trigger snack that most people avoid, but they're wrong. I'm showing you exactly what it is and how to use it in the next video.